Vidyaji is here, yeah? Oh, good, wonderful. Oh, you got the things I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Are
Let
they
me
usable?
fetch that.
Are they usable?
Yes, Vaminiji, of course.
So you can please take it from here, and if you if there is anything I need to add or I want to add, I'll do that as we go along. Okay?
Yes, Vaminiji. I can share the
Please
Prarthana mantra from yesterday.
take it from here, and then we'll go.
Okay. So just a note for the person who is doing the first shloka, you may please do the Om and then start with Shuklam Baradharam. And that way our whole prayers start with the Om. So we can start now. And who would like to do Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu?
I would like to.
Yes, please.
Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu Shashivarnam Chaturbhucham Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashantaye.
The next one, Saraswati Namastubhyam.
I'll go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupi Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Varade Kamarupini. I think Vidyarambham Karishyami got swallowed by the microphone.
Internet, maybe internet problems.
Can you do again,
Yeah, sure. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
The next one, Yena Kshara Samam Nayam.
I can try that.
Okay.
Yena Kshara Samam Nayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Krutsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Parninaye Namaha.
Okay. Sahana Vavatu with the Om.
Can I try?
Mm-hmm.
Please go ahead.
Gordonji, please go ahead. Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahabhiryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Bahu Samichinam. and very nice. I would just like to mention that for the Mahaprana, I would like you all to turn up the dial a little bit. So the Mahaprana is a little more, you should feel the breath. So when you feel the breath on your palm, it means that the other person who is hearing is able to hear the Mahaprana sound. If you don't feel the breath on your palm, when you say Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum, if you don't feel the breath on your palm, then it is very likely that the other person did not hear the Mahaprana. Okay. Bahu Samichinam. Swaminiji, you want to do anything or shall I get started?
Please get started.
Okay. So we are going to do a new set of forms. We started from the Parasmaipadi Vartamana Kalaha. We started with Pathati, Pathataha, Pathanti, but probably because we may have started with Patati, but Patati or Pathati doesn't matter. Patati, we fall into Sanskritam. Pathati, we study Sanskritam. Okay, so we started with the Parasmaipadi Vartamana Kalaha. And then over time, we learned the Bhutakala version, past tense, Apathat, Apathatam, Apathan. Parasmaipadi Vartamana Kalaha is Lat. And the... Sorry?
Yeah, I wrote load by
Joshi ji,
mistake.
maybe you may have to mute.
Correct it.
Vidya, I can't hear you.
I cannot hear you.
I cannot hear you.
Yes, I unmuted myself. Yes, Astu. All right. So we did the Vartamana Kalaha, which is Lat Lakaraha. And then we did the Bhuta Kalaha, Lang Lakaraha, Apathat, Apathatam, Apathan. And then we did the Bhavishyat Kalaha, Patishyati, and we did
No, we haven't done.
We have not done the Bhavishyat Kalaha.
Yeah.
Kshamyatam.
Only Lat, Lang, and in both
Lot.
Atmane, Lot we are
Parasmai.
going to do today. Atmane and Parasmai.
Oh, so we've not done the Lot Parasmai either. Okay,
No.
so we have done the Lat Lakaraha and the Lang Lakaraha.
Yeah, only present and past. Simple present and past. Yeah.
Okay, so as Swaminiji had said earlier, the past tense has 3 past tenses. And then the future tense, there are 2 future tenses. But in addition to that, there are many more forms of the verb of the Kriya Padam, which we encountered even in our shlokas. So we did, if we, in the Sahana Avatu, there we had Avatu. Avatu is please protect. So the Avatu is the Lot Lakaraha. It is a request, it is a prayer, it can also be considered as an Agnya, as an order. So we are going to look at that form today. So Sahana Vavatu, Avatu. Avati is the Vartamana Kalaha. He protects. Avatu is please protect. So this is called a Lot Lakaraha. And before we get started on this Lot Lakaraha, that I will tell you about, I will introduce you to a charming aspect of naming convention in Sanskritam. So there are 3 past tenses. There are 2 future tenses. There is 1 present tense. So 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6. And then there is this request. And then there is the, there are 3 more. One is a possibility of something happening, and there is the benedictive intent. And then the last one is when you discuss, when you in the bhashyas, when you have a Purva Pakshi making an objection, and the Bhashyakara actually guesses what the Purva Pakshi is going to say, preempts. He preempts the Purva Pakshi's argument and counters it or resolves that argument. And for that we say, were you to say that the sun rises in the west, then I would have to say that that would be wrong because this, that, and the other. So that were you to say, and it would be wrong, that kind of a structure also has a form in Sanskritam. So there are these, in all, 10 different ways in which you can express a given verb. Of course, within each of these, we also have the modification for Purushaha, person, first person, second person, third person. Of course, in Sanskritam, the order is third person, second person, and first person. And then we have the Vachanam, count, singular, dual, and plural. So for each of them, there are these 9 variations. So we have to name all of them. And even if we have one child, we go through a lot of ideas on what we would name the child. Just imagine the grammarians having 10 different verb forms that they have to give distinct names. And there are these bhutakalas, 3 bhutakalas, and they have to distinguish between them. And we also know that the grammarians are very fond of the most succinct way of making a statement. As Swamini just wrote down, lat is the name for present tense. So that is as small as you can get without being ambiguous, with enough room to move around. So I'm going to quickly show you how they moved around, and you will also be able to appreciate the flow. So let me share my screen. So this is, I am writing, but it's not too much of a writing. So please do not be alarmed. So they just decided, for some random reason, they decided to start with the sound L. They decided to start with the consonant L. And then they decided to reserve 2 consonants in the end. So they decide these 3 things, they had it fixed. Then they decided to cycle through the various swaraha, because without the swaraha, sounds are difficult to be pronounced. So they decided to cycle through the swaraha, and they just took 1 per specimen. Say, so they took a, I, U, R, A, and O. So they took these 6 swaraha, and then they just cycled through them like how the odometer goes through the digits 0 through 9, and they came up with different names. So what are the names that you can have? You will now have lat, lit, lut, Lit, late,
For which we are too late. The late is Vedic.
yes, late, load. And then after we have cycled through, they needed more. So they just went ahead and started with the next consonant that they had earmarked. So lung, ling, lung, and ring. So they decided to go over. So now they decided we have got our 10 names. We are done. If they needed 2 more names, they could have continued with Lang and Long, but we didn't need them. So we have the 10 names for the 10 different possibilities of the verb forms. We have completed the lut form and we have completed the lung form. And there are all these, most of the rules that apply to what we have seen so far will apply to the other forms also. Today, we are going to address load. And quick note about what Swamini ji had said about this late. Either we don't have information about the late lakaraha, or this late lakaraha happened in the Vedas, and or it is in the Vedic literature and not in the current literature. I don't know much more about the late lakaraha, and as Swamini ji said, it is late right now. And so this kind of gets out of the picture, but then the ling gets split into 2 as it gets split into 2 as vidhiling and ashirling. So this ashirling is the benedictive version, and vidhiling is decree.
Optative, it is called.
Optative. Okay, so this is how the naming convention comes up. So the
Can I ask a question? Is this a lat? Is this present tense, and lan is future? Lan is past tense.
Correct. What we have learned.
Oh, okay.
Swamini ji has put it up on the chat pod. So lat is the present tense that we started off with, and lung is the past tense that we have seen. Today, we are going to do the lot. So it is easy to use the word lot form because this lot, and now collectively, what will you call all of these? So collectively, all these are called lakaraha. L is how all of them are starting. So all of them are called lakaraha. So when we say that we are studying the lakaraha, it means that we are studying the 10 different possibilities of a given dhatuhu in its 3x3 format, which means we have 10 multiplied by 3x3, which is 90. So for every dhatuhu, you have 90 different verb forms. And this is only for, you have 90 different forms for parasmaipadi, you have 90 different forms for the atmanepadi, and if a given dhatuhu happens to be an ubhayapadi, you know its life. It is going to have 90 plus 90, 180 different forms are going to be available. So to give you an idea, the pat dhatuhu has 90 forms, and the vand Vandate, that has 90 forms. So that is the magnitude of the various forms that exist in, that's only a drop in the ocean of the possibilities for the verbs. Okay, so today we are going to look at the lot lakaraha. So once we have given it a name of a lakaraha, it becomes very easy, handy. So you can say we are now going to do lot lakaraha. And I will stop sharing if I may. So, well, even if I stop sharing, I'm going to see myself. So I might as well leave it as it is. So the lot lakaraha, what is it going to get us? We are going to be able to request, as we are doing in that Sahana Avatu. Please protect. Let him protect. It is in third person. So let him protect Avatu. And in our Shanti Mantram, we say, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve, we have seen that as, we may not have seen it as a Sarvanama Shabdaha, or we may have. Sarvaha, Sarvau, Sarve, all. Sarve Bhavantu. Sarve Bhavanti is your lat lakaraha that we have learned, all are. Sarve Bhavantu, let all be. So let all be what? Sarve Sukhinaha Bhavantu. Let all be well. Sukhinaha, comfortable, well. So that is the lot lakaraha. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. It is then for the asti, as dhatuhu, we have santu. Sarve santu niramayaha. And then sarve bhadrani pashyantu. So pashyati, we have seen lat lakaraha. Apashyat lang lakaraha. And now we are doing lot pashyatu. And then so these are the forms that we are going to see. Pashyati, bhavati, they are all parasmaipadi. In the atmanepadi form, you have vandatam. So if the equivalent in atmanepadi for asti or bhavati is vartate. Vartate is an atmanepadi, and vartate means exists. So vartatam, let it be. So vartatam. And we are going to head to that form. So let me quickly stop sharing the screen. And any questions at this moment?
Actually, I have many, but I hold myself back, and maybe I get clearer when we start with this.
Okay. So I'm going to quickly, I have already written the formats. So I'm again going to share the screen and we will go over the forms. So I'm only going to give you the final form of the lot lakara form and not arrive at starting from the dhatuhu. What are the operations that go into the dhatuhu to arrive at the form? I'm not going to address that part, but just as you have done it for the vartamana kalaha, a similar operation is in store for you for the lot lakaraha. So I'm going to directly address the resultant form, and I have it on the screen. Again, sorry, it is my handwritten format. So here is the prarthana form. So I have done it for the lik dhatuhu. Likhati is writes. So what is in red is the parasmaipadi form, and what is in green is the atmanepadi form. So likhatu, let him write. Likhatam is let the two of them write. Likhantu, let all of them write. So you can easily make 9 sentences here. You can say, Balaha likhatu, let the student write. Balau likhatam, let the two boys write. Balaha likhantu, let the boys write. Then tvam likha, you please write. Then yuvam likhatam, may the two of you write. Yuyam likhata, all of you please write. Then likhani, now you may ask, what is this? May I please write? So it can either be a question, a request with somebody asking for permission. Aham likhani, may I write? Avam likhava, or it can even be let me write. So let me write, likhava, let the two of us write, and likhama, let all of us write. So that is the form of this lot lakara for Parasmaipadi.
May I add one small thing when you said the first person?
Yes, Swaminiji.
Purusha. Yeah, it sounds funny to give an order to oneself, So it can also be like I need to write, I must write, I should write. That also is there. Like the urge of must and should, the force of that, isn't it? In the
Yes. So this I've qualified it as prarthana, prerana. So what are all the applications of this lot lakara? It can be prarthana means request. It is at one end of the spectrum, and the other is, it can even be an agnya. It can even be an order. So it can go all the way from being a request to an order. So you can do the must, should, could, may, shall, all of those tones could come into the lot lakara. So it can be a request, may I please do it, to I want to do it, I have determined to do it. All those can be expressed using this lot lakara. And so when we say sarve bhavantu sukhinah, we are requesting Bhagavan that all be comfortable. But if I say sarve likhantu, if I'm looking at you all and saying, well, I can address you all in third person, or I can address you all in second person. So I'm addressing you all in third person, and I'm saying sarve likhantu, means all of you write. There, I'm not I'm not doing a prayer. I'm encouraging you to all, I'm persuading you all to write. Sadhu. So all that entire spectrum gets covered by this lot lakara. And including a child throwing a tantrum with its legs, my visualization is always the child with stomping the floor and saying, I want an ice cream. That can also be in the khadani. I want to eat an ice cream. So I need an ice cream. So it can be used in this, conveyed in this form. And moving on to the Atmanepadi form, I've used the dhatuhu sahatam. Sahatam means to endure. Sahatam, let him endure. So why would you say let him endure the pain? The thinking there would be, if you see a butterfly, if you see a caterpillar that is trying to come out of a cocoon, and you feel sympathy, you feel your heart melts. It is struggling to come out of that, emerge out of that cocoon. I'm going to take a very fine razor blade and I'm going to cut the outer cocoon so that the caterpillar can come out. It will come out without its wings fully formed. So it needs to do that. It needs to find its way out of the cocoon for it to be able to fly happily later. So at that time, we have to say, Sahatam, let it endure the pain of growing. So Sahatam, then Sahetam, let the two, we've seen Swaminiji has given us the vocabulary, Kitaha is a bug. So Kitaha Sahatam, let it endure. It is Sakarmaka Dhatuhu Kashtam. So Kitaha Kashtam Sahatam. Let the Kitaha, let the bug suffer the pain. Kitau Kashtam Sahetam. Let the two bugs endure the pain. Kitaha Kashtam Sahantam. Let the Kitaha, let the bugs endure the pain. It can also be a heartless statement. Let it endure the pain. So it can be either a heartless statement or it can be a compassionate statement. But the word is the same. It might be conveyed, the difference may be conveyed by the tone. Sadhu. And then Tvam Sahasva. Tvam Sahetam. Tvam Kinchit Shaityam Sahasva. You please endure a little cold. Tvam Kinchit Shaityam Sahetam. Please endure a little bit of cold. Both of you. Yuyam Kinchit Shaityam Sahadvam. You please endure a little bit of cold. Aham Sahai. Let me endure some cold. Let me endure some cold. Avam Sahavahai. Let us endure some cold. And Vayam Sahamahai. Let us endure, let all of us endure some cold. I have a feeling that I did this Lakaraha last time because I may have pointed out the Mavid Vishavahai. It comes up, this is the form that will show up there in the...
That was in the university class last year.
Okay.
Yeah, not for this group.
Thank you, Swamini.
So, Vidyaji, one question, like you just said it, I was about to ask Vidvishahi. And Viryam Karvavahi is the same one, like Sahavahi?
Yes.
Viryam
Karavavahi, correct.
Right.
So that kurute, karotu, the kru dhatu is an ubhayapadi. So karotu is you please do. So when we say Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kuru. So there it is in like the likha. Because it is in a different ganaha, the form is different. So nirvighnam kuru means you please do. And for karavavahai, it is in the atmanepadi form and it is in the uttama purusha dvivachanam form.
So, Vidyaji, how you call this in English?
Prayer, encourage, it is called
Imperative mood.
Imperative mood. It's a mood, it's not a tense. So this is an imperative mood.
And it's called a mood so that nobody becomes too tense after seeing the 10 lakaras.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, Swaminiji, you want to share that document?
1 minute, I'm just writing this imperative mode here. After I finish
Oh,
that, I will
yes.
share it.
Yes, yes, Swami.
Vijayji, is this the
Yes.
most courteous way you can address a deity and superior, that you make your request, or is there another form which is more
It's in your
courteous?
tone. That's a good question. It's in your tone. So it is the same. So I can say, Bhaskarji, likhatu, because I can see him. I'm not seeing all of you. So when I say Bhaskarji, likhatu, I'm saying, please write. I can say, please don't mind my using you as an example. So I might say, Bhaskarji, likhatu. So it is just in my tone, whether I say likhatu or likhatu. And that is why in the written form, you cannot tell the tonal difference. Are you making it as a request or are you making it as a command? And so we tend to include the word kripaya. Kripaya means please. So kripaya likhatu, please write. Or likhatu, write. So, but we don't need to use the word kripaya because that form itself allows you to, it covers from request all the way to order. But if in the written form, if there is no possibility, if there is no way to distinguish, then we use that external word of kripaya, please. And kripaya in turn is the instrumental of kripa, lata, lataya, kripa, kripaya, sita, sitaya.
Am I reading too much into this, or can we say that when you say likhatu, you know, I continue to use Bhaskarji as an example since you started it. So if you say Bhaskarji likhatu in the tone of the voice, that was a very good example. But can we also extend this to say that if you address Bhaskarji in the third person, it is more of a prarthana, whereas if you say Bhaskarji likha, that is more of an agnya. Can we say that?
Strictly speaking, not, Swaminiji, because really not, even though in some places they try to portray the third person address as being
More
respectful.
polite. Yeah.
But that is really not the case, because in Bhagavad Gita itself, in the first adhyaya, Duryodhana addresses his guru as Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum. He addresses his teacher in the second person singular, Pashya, look.
But that's because he is Duryodhana.
No, but then later on he himself says, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayah. So he himself goes on and says Bhavan, and therefore, strictly speaking, it is not the case. From the Samskrita point of view, it is not there. But from our regional perspective, right? Regionally, we don't want to address our elders by name.
Yes.
We don't want to address them by
second person.
I started this, so I want to ask, so in the present tense, though, when you are speaking to a person you respect, you use the third person sometimes as a courtesy. Is that what kind of creates some of this third person imperative, or is there any, can you have any comments about that, or how to be courteous?
I think that it is just ease of when you're learning, when you're a beginner, if you learn to accommodate the second person as a third person, you can cut out that middle row from your learning matrix, right? So you don't need to do the second person. So you don't need to know any of the second person forms. So I can address, hey Bhaskarji, Bhavan likhati. Hey Bhaskarji, you are writing. Where I'm using the Bhavan as a third person address to us of a second person. If I were to do the Tvam, it is not respectful. It is not disrespectful. I have to know, hey Bhaskarji, Tvam likhasi. There I have to know the Madhyama Purusha form. So when you address the third person, you can get away with learning a lot without doing the second person format. But beyond that, I don't know about the distinction. Even when we say Shankara Bhagavat Padaha, we are using Bahuvachanam out of respect, and I believe that that is out of regional respect. It is not something that Sanskritam is dictating, but it is our regional influence which makes us think that addressing somebody in second person or addressing somebody in singular is disrespectful. I had a student who told me we were using some form where she said she was referring to her husband, and she used it in Bahuvachanam form, plural form. But the sentence didn't have the noun for the husband. So I was very confused. Of course, I ended up asking, not to be rude, how many husbands do you have? But the point is that it is a regional influence that causes us to do the Bahuvachanam, but not a Samskrita requirement.
Vidyaji, to be clear, you use third person for Bhaskarji just for the request. But otherwise he has to be second person because you're in front. So Bhaskarji is in front of you. So it has to be second person.
No, whether he is in front of me or whether he is, whether I am talking to him over the phone, I can address him in Sanskritam either as Tvam Likha or Bhavan Likhatu. I can do that. Either of them is fine.
But he's in front of you.
Because Sanskritam gives me the facility to address a second person as a third person. If you go to Kerala, they will, even for first person, they will use third person. Suppose, let us say again, Bhaskarji is a person from Kerala, and I'm going to ask him, could you please give me some water? In Kerala, I think that the request would be, would you give some water to Vidya? I am the one who is talking, I am Vidya, but I'm saying, would you give some water to Vidya? So it is, these are all regional flavors, and in Sanskritam, it may not be available. In English, we know that when you address the royalty, you don't address them directly. You don't, or that is my understanding. You don't say, hey, you queen. You say, Her Highness the Queen. I would like to talk to Her Highness the Queen. And even
so
now,
Likhatu is also right and Likh is also right then.
Likha and Likhatu. But both are right. But if you use Likhatu, your subject should be third person. If you write Likha, your subject should be second person. And even now, if you listen to some people talk to their gurus, they will ask, I mean, I will refer to Swamini Ji in second person. I would say, Swamini Ji, would you like some water? But there are some of us, I think, who would say, would Swamini Ji like some water? So it is respectful. And I'm just using that also as an example to illustrate that these practices are coming from our regional settings. In our household, we never, in many of our households, we refer to the father in plural and the mother in singular. In our household, father was also in singular. So it is not that we were being disrespectful to our father. It is just that that was the practice in the house. So to me, it is very difficult to address in Sanskritam we address, because of this regional practice, we address in Bahuvachanam. It's difficult for me to do it in Bahuvachanam, so I squirm. But it really is not an indication of disrespect.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so we have, so this is with this template of the Lot Lakaraha, you can go through all the Kriya Padani that you have. So we can, let me see how many of us, we are 32 of us, and we have within about 5 to 6 minutes, we can make it happen. So Harinder ji, you have a question? Oh.
Swamiji answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I should put down my...
No, but I will use your presence. So can you please trigger a, okay. There, Swamini ji has given us the a dhatuhu that we can work with.
Do you want to go through it, or the derivation? Shall
Yes.
we do a little bit of the derivation so people
Yes,
know?
Swamini ji, I would like you to do that, Swamini ji.
Okay, so here let us look. This
Swamini
is.
ji, you may have to remove spotlight from me and put.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're looking at the screen, so they're not
Okay.
looking at either you or me. So they're just looking at the screen. So here, this is these are the endings, and of course we go from the bottom here because I didn't have time to correct all this. I just did some copy pasting, and then after that we have to check it, so it takes some time. So tu. Like ti, taha, anti, we have tu, tam, antu. Then 0, nothing here, meaning it is exactly as the anga. The anga stands. The word stem that we have derived stands, and more about that in a short while. And then nothing here, 0, tam, ta. And then the first person, Uttama Purusha, ani, ava, ama. And the rules are very simple here. There is not, there is not a lot of guna, this, that, and all doesn't come into the picture. And what all that is there is we add the gana vikarana, or the marker for the first 4, 6, and 10, which is this a. And so we have, let's say, pat or pat, whichever we take here, 1 pp, pat dhatu, to study, to read, pat plus a, then we have patha, and straight away you add tu, pathatu. Then pat plus a plus tam, pathatam. Then the same rule that we have in the present tense, lat lakara, meaning what happens when patha plus pat plus a plus anti, what happens to that? What happens there? Can anybody tell me?
It's a long ah. It's a
What happens?
patanti.
Is that what happens? Pathanti happens?
No,
Pati?
no, we drop the
We drop the when the termination begins with a. So the same rule here. When the termination begins with a, we drop the a. Okay. So then, so the pat plus a plus antu, pathantu. And then because it starts with a there in the plural third person, and then but here the second person is stands out, especially in Parasmaipadi singular, Madhyama Purusha. And what is that? Pat plus a, we just have the anga, and then it stands just like this, patha. Then pat plus a plus tam, pathatam. Same thing everywhere. Pat plus a plus ta, pathata. And then pat plus a plus ani, pathani, pathava, pathama. And then here, there is a note, a changes to a when followed by endings with va and ma. and that is not here in the, we don't have endings with va and ma in the Parasmaipadi here. So let us, since Bhaskarji has been in the spotlight, please take Vadatu and chant that.
Swaminiji,
Yes.
it is in Ava, Ama, Patava, Patama, we have that.
Yeah, but here it says a changes to a when followed by endings beginning with va and ma.
Because
In
it's
ani, ava and ama, they don't begin with
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's what. So I think it's a redundant thing here. It's not applicable for Parasmai Pada. Bhaskarji, ready? Are you ready to speak?
Yes, yes.
Is it possible to make it a little bigger, Swaminiji?
Yes, I also have a problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Vadatu, vadatam, vadantu. Vada, vadatam, vadata. Vadani, vadava, vadama. Should I go on? Or
Gordon
somebody
can do the next one.
Nutya, Nutyatu,
Nrityatu,
Nityatu, Nityatam, Nityantu, Nritya, Nityatam, Nityatata, Nityata, sorry,
Yeah.
Nityata, Nityatani, Nityatava, Nityatam, Ma.
I think there is some addition going on. Am I right?
Sorry. Should I do that whole row again?
Yes.
Nityani, Nityava, Nityama.
And it's not Nityani, it's Nrityani, Nrityava, Nrityama.
Nityama.
Okay. And then let's see. Lik we have already done. We are going to skip that. And then let's do the 10th conjugation. Who will like to do that? Let's see. Ila, do you want to try?
Yes, Swaminiji. I start with the third person, no?
Yes, you start from the bottom.
Okay. Pujayatu, Pujayatam, Pujayantu, Pujaya, Pujayatam, Pujayata, Jani, Pujava.
Let's try that third person. Sorry, the first person singular again.
Okay. Pujayani, Pujayava, Pujayama.
Okay. Then we go to Atmanepada endings. And here also they are different naturally. So tam, itam, antam, swa, itham, dhvam, ai, avahai, amahai. And let us look at some of the places where the sandhi takes place, especially notably in the dual, in the Tritiya Purusha and and the Madhyama Purusha. There is the sandhi takes place because we already have the anga which will end in a, and then it will contact the e, and then what will happen? A plus e, what will happen?
E.
Yeah, and that a sound will come. And then those that already have a here doesn't matter because that will remain the same. And this also doesn't really trigger a sandhi because one of the a's is dropped. This is elided. Okay, the third person plural is elided. Okay, just like in the what we have been seeing. And so similarly bhash plus a plus tam bhashatam, but notice bhash plus a plus itam, what happens? Bhashetam.
Sheta.
Bhash plus a plus antam bhashantam, not bhashantam, because it's a single one that is elided. Then bhash plus a plus swa bhashaswa bhashetham. Here again sandhi takes place. This is why the the atmanepadas are tricky because there will be sandhis there. And then bhashadhvam. Then bhash plus a, one more place of sandhi. Here we forgot we overlooked this here. The singular first person, uttama purusha. So bhash plus a, what happens?
Becomes
Bhashai.
I.
Bhashai.
Bhashai.
Yeah, not bhash plus a, bhash plus I, bhashai. And then bhasha vahai and bhasha mahi, those are straightforward. Okay, and so this is a nice root verb, save to serve. Chris, you want to take that?
Sevatam, sevetam, sevantam, sevasva, sevetam, sevadvam, sevai, sevavahai, sevamahai.
Very nice. Okay, that was the first conjugation. Then we move to fourth conjugation, man, to think. Here it says to accept and believe. That's okay. Charlene, you want to do this?
Manyatam. Someone else is speaking. I'm not sure who.
Merrier.
Okay. Manyetam. Manyantam. Then manyasva. No, sorry. Manyasva. Manyetham. Manya dvam. Then manyai. Manyavahai. And manya mahai.
Yes, except there is no tea break between manya and mahai. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So it's one word. Manya,
I like tea.
mahai.
Okay. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. So that is good to know. And then Vidyaji, this 6 it says Atmanepada, but actually it is Ubhayapadi. Much. Vidyaji gone?
No, right here. Yes,
Oh,
Swamiji.
okay.
Right.
That's correct, right? It is Ubhayapadi, right?
Munchati, we have seen that usage, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, Premaji, would you like to try this?
Munchetam, munchetam, munchentam, muncheswa, munchetam, munchadvam, munchai, munchavahai, munchamahai.
Yes, very good, except I'm hearing a little ya there. Munchai, munchai, munchavahai, munchamahai.
Munchavahai, munchamahai.
Munchavahai. Yeah. All right, very good. Next one. Let's see, I'm just looking at people and seeing. Surekha, would you like to do this?
Pujyatam, pujyetam, pujyantam.
Try that again, dear.
Pujyatam.
Yeah.
Pujyetam.
Yeah, but it is not pujyetam. It is Pujayetam.
Okay. Pujayetam,
Yeah.
pujayantam.
Yeah.
Pujayasva, pujayetam, pujayadvam. Pujayai, pujayavahai, pujayamahai.
Yes. Very good. Except we just have to remember what Vidyaji said about Mahaprana. Pujayetham, pujayadhvam.
Pujayadvam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So that is there. And then Vidyaji, do you want to have a go with a couple of sentences?
Here, Swaminiji.
Okay, so I'll pull it up here and then please take it over. These are all from the Vedas. Most of them, anyway. At least the Sanskrit to English. And the rest, people can take it home, and whatever we do here, one or two we can do. And the rest is homework for this week.
Right. So you can recognize.
Swaminiji, are you going
Somebody
to share this document?
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem.
So
Vidya
somebody
can
can
also do that. She has it.
somebody can read the first.
Yeah, let us have somebody read. Who hasn't gone till now? I'm just trying to think. Then I saw somebody just now. Maithili.
Namaste, Swaminiji.
Yeah, please read the first sentence.
Satyam vada dharmam chara.
Yeah, what is it saying?
Satyam is truth.
Yeah.
Vada is, I'm not sure.
Let me scroll up here. In fact, this Vada, Bhaskarji recited this.
Okay. To speak.
So so translate this now, please.
Speak the truth. Satyam vada.
Yeah.
Dharmam chara.
Yeah.
Means do the dharma. Charati is do.
Do the right thing.
Follow. Yeah. Follow dharma.
Follow. Do the right thing. Follow dharma.
Follow dharma. Okay. Second one. Who would like to read the second one? Who hasn't had the Pushpa? Would you like to read the second one? I can't hear you.
Devo Bhava.
Please try that again. You got cut off. Am I the only one not hearing her? Vidyaji, can you hear her?
No, Swaminiji, just the one
between.
little phrase was heard later.
Yeah, she's putting on some headphones.
Sorry, Swami.
Yeah, go ahead.
Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Adithi Devo Bhava.
Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi. One is Mahaprana and one is Alpa Prana. Okay. Atithi Devo Bhava. What is it saying? It's a little difficult, but we'll do it together. We'll all do it together.
Matru Devo Bhava.
Matra Devaha. So this is, we haven't seen this particular formation because it is got it's a word compound. The one for whom mother is Bhagavan is a manifestation of Bhagavan. That is what it means. Vidyaji, would you like to explain that?
Yes, Swaminiji. So the first thing when we do these exercises, we have to look at the verb. So we have to understand what the verb does. We have to recognize, starting from Satyam Vada, we have to recognize that it is in the imperative mood and it is in second person, right? It is Tvam Vada, Tvam Chara, Tvam Bhava. So it is addressing somebody in the second person singular. Then, so you now know that the subject is the Tvam. So now when we say Satyam Vada, we are actually saying Tvam Satyam Vada. So that Satyam was the object of that Vada. Tvam Vada, Tvam Satyam Vada. So similarly, Tvam Bhava, you be. Then you be what? Tvam Matrudevaha Bhava. So the Tvam Matrudevaha Bhava, Swaminiji, you can correct me. I've been pondering about what the meaning of this Matrudevo Bhava is, because we are not, what we are asking Bhagavan, I'm assuming that we are asking Bhagavan to be the Matrudevaha. Meaning, we normally say Matrudevo Bhava means mother is God, but I think here we are asking God, we are telling God, you be the Matrudevaha, you be the Pitrudevaha.
Not really. Mata Devaha Yasya Saha, that you be. Be the one for whom mother is nothing but God. Mother is an incarnation of God. Be the one for whom Pita is Devaha. For whom? Be that. Be the one for whom the teacher is an incarnation of God. Be the one for whom the Atithi is an incarnation of God.
But this is in second person. So whom are we saying this to?
This is a little excerpt, very interesting, Vidyaji. This is a wonderful little excerpt from the first valedictory speech of a guru to the Shishyas. Beautiful it is. Satyam vada dharmanchara swadhyaya anma pramadah आचार्याय प्रियन्धनमाकृत्य प्रजातन्तुं मा व्यवच्छेत्सीः सत्यान्न प्रमदितव्यं, like that it goes, and dharmanna pramaditavyam, kushalanna pramaditavyam, etc., etc., etc. Then it says matrudevo bhava, pitrudevo bhava, acharya devo bhava, atiti devo bhava, yani anavadyani karmani tani sevitavyani no itarani. So the teacher's final teachings after they have become snatakas, after they have taken the ritual bath and they are going to be let loose in the world, the final teachings of the teacher, the first valedictory speech, that is, this is an excerpt from that.
Great, Swaminiji. So it is not that I, as a person, am not talking to anybody and saying you be the Matrudevo Bhava, but it is the Guru who is telling the student,
yes,
or blessing the student and
yes,
saying,
yes,
you be the one for whom mother is Devaha,
yes,
you be the one for whom father is Devaha,
yes,
you be the one for whom Acharyaha is the Devaha.
Right.
Had this question for a longest time and just left it to be figured out eventually.
We'll be
Thank
studying
you,
this. This is all from, oh no, maybe we won't be studying this because this is from the first Anuvaka, but from in the Taittiriya Upanishad. This is all from the Taittiriya.
Okay, so Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, we can take it even, I can take it as an injunction to me to say, speak the truth. But I don't know why I didn't take Matrudevo Bhava to be an injunction to me. I just took that to be me talking to somebody.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it is an injunction to me. So when we read it, it is addressing ourselves.
Yes.
Mm.
Or like
Okay.
this, the rest of it they can perhaps try at home,
Um,
they can this can be the homework.
Swamiji, may I ask a question?
yeah, me too. Go ahead, Harvind.
Is number 3, is there a spelling error
What?
in number 3, or is it Asami or Asani?
Asani.
Asami. It's Asani.
Yes. Asani, Asava, Asama.
So may I ask a question too?
Sure.
Yeah. So when we want to tell our favorite activity, want to tell someone not to do something, what about ma and na?
Yeah, you can say ma. Ma
Because we have some
especially
ma's
goes
coming
in.
up here, yeah.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah,
one
the
is got
mother
a
said
ma.
to the child, do not eat the naivedya, do
Yeah.
not eat the offering. So, the imperative mood goes very well with ma. The negative, whatever, the particle ma. Ma kuru.
Thank you.
Do you want to say more about ma, Vidyaji?
No, Swaminiji, that is good. Ma and na are used interchangeably. In general, with the lot lakaraha, we do the ma.
Yeah.
Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet.
That is
So-
more vidhiling, right? Bhavet.
Right. That is a different kind of, but along the lines of the lot lakaraha.
Yes.
But na and ma is fine.
Yes.
But I don't see na with the imperative. But you're saying it's fine?
I think it's irregular, Swamiji, for us, the number 3.
What is irregular? Number
It-
3? The Vedas
number
says we must speak the
Oh,
truth.
no, I'm not saying that, Swamiji. I'm sorry, I was referring to the Sanskrit sentence.
Oh, the Sanskrit. Yeah. Just do what you can. And then next
Okay.
week we will look at it.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
So
Dominiji,
na is also allowed with we can see instances where na goes with the
Imperative.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dominiji,
Yeah.
we use ma for accusative, no? Aham and ma.
Yeah, that's a different ma.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the two come together. And it can be very confusing.
That is why I say in that asato ma sadgamaya,
Yes.
there it is ma mom
Yeah.
and not don't.
Yes. And sometimes ma mom and ma don't both come together. Like in one of the Shanti mantras, together they come.
Thank you.
Mama Brahma Nirakuryam. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. One ma is don't and one ma is me. So
Good
that's
saving homework correction. Thank you.
never a dull moment in Sanskrit.
Can Sandhi apply when we do the na or usually not? Like
Na
na.
Sandhi applies, but not I think with ma, except in the lit, paroksha, like you drop the like ma abhut, we say ma abhut. Ma ashuchaha, again from the Bhagavad Gita, we say ma ashuchaha. So, Vidyaji, you want to say anything more?
No, Swaminiji, that is, I think that initially we should take it as equally applicable to do either na or ma, and then the nuance of when we do, I think that there is a rule, but then it is broken down in many places. So I don't think that there needs to be a thought about when to use na and when to use ma.
Yeah, but also the sandhi, I have seen like ma astu, they write together. Sometimes I have seen that.
It is an ordinary word, so it can be part of a sandhi.
Yes, yes.
Mastu, as Swaminiji said, Mastu, Ma Astu. Sandhi has happened. So there is no reason to not do Sandhi on it.
Okay, thank you.
It's not exempt.
Swaminiji,
Yes.
yesterday's homework, the last two sentences.
Yeah, there is one mistake. I'm glad you brought it up, and Vidyaji alerted me because I had copied one thing from some website. I forget. I tried to look for it today, but not very hard, so I didn't find it. But it was a wrong thing where the mangoes, instead of the mangoes were appealing to me, the sentence read, I was appealing to the mangoes. So that is something that has to be fixed. So it should be Mahyam Amram Arochata. We have to say, not Aroche. Okay? I think it was learnsanskrit.org or something. I don't know, I forgot. But we were discussing earlier, it is the tyranny of print. When you see something printed, you think it overrides your own intuition, and you forget what you have studied because you give it more weightage. I was telling Vidyaji this earlier. So that you have to correct.
Somniji, I was talking of yesterday's classwork, last two sentences too. I mean, I don't know how it gets translated. I found it on Google. But the Shanno Mitraha Shamvarunaha, how to get it as may Mitraha be auspicious for
See,
me.
Naha means to us, right? Naha is for us, for me, for us, like that. So that is so that let's not forget the Naha there.
Mahyam me bhavabhyam nau asmabhyam naha.
Yeah. So Naha, ma nau Naha, and then me nau Naha, me nau Naha. So this Naha comes in the second, fourth, and sixth plural cases, and so contextually we see which one applies. So let there be this for me, and so let Sham, auspiciousness, let there be, and then from Indra or from Varuna, like that. So that if we can't swallow the Naha, so when that Naha becomes no because of the Visarga Sandhi, when it is followed by a soft consonant, etc. And so therefore it is easy to elide over that.
Yes, Swamiji, thank you. And the cha in this, the last sentence, sham chame, cha is not and, no?
Yeah, cha is and.
Oh.
Because it's part of the chamaka. It's part of the chamaka.
Oh.
Shanchame, mayaschame, priyanchame, nukamoschame, like this it will go. So it is part of it means and.
Oh. So how do we translate shamchame then mayaschame?
Yeah, so and let there be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Assuming the astu, bhavatu, may it be.
Okay. And mayaschame, Swaminiji?
Mayas means joy.
Oh.
You can look it up. Mayas is happiness.
Yes, Swaminiji. Thank you.
Can somebody share this document, please?
Yeah, Vidyaji, do you have it at hand? Can you put it in the chat?
Just done, Swaminiji.
All right. So
thank
please download that. And shall we close? Is this a good time? Vidyaji,
Yes.
did you want to add anything else?
I'm very happy to have heard the Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava thing resolved. And now that it is resolved, it is I'm amazed to realize, amazed as in embarrassedly, I'm amazed to realize that while I could take Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara to be directed at me, I did not consider this Matru Devo Bhava to be directed at me.
Yes,
I was
yes.
always trying to look at Bhagavan and say Matru Devo Bhava. And so I was trying to do, asking Bhagavan to come and be in the form of
Mother and
like
father.
mother already exists. So
Yes.
you come and permeate my mother, something
Yeah.
along those lines,
Right.
which was a little difficult to process. So I'm very happy to have that resolution on that.
It's wonderful. It's actually very profound because it
Swaminiji, I did not understand it fully, you know. I still need to study
Yeah.
on that. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Mata Devaha Yasya Saha Matra Devaha. That is how the compound is resolved. The mother, for whom the mother is nothing but a celestial, is Bhagavan. And so what it's very profound actually, because what it's saying is that everybody has mother issues and father issues. Here is an invitation to override that and see the mother as an incarnation of Ishvara, to transcend whatever the omissions and commissions by the father may have been and the fallacies or difficulties, and to see the father also as a incarnation of Ishvara. And Acharya, of course, and Atithi, because the Atithi means Tithihi navidyate yasya, the one who drops in without a date, not the one who says I'll come on such and such a day. No. So then the Atithi also teaches us to be flexible and teaches us to receive the unexpected with grace and integrity. So it's actually very profound because it's telling one to override the small difficulties or whatever one may have with regard to so many mother issues, father issues, whatever it is, to override that and see instead to Ishvarize the mother and Ishvarize the father, Ishvarize the guru, and see that it's actually very beautiful.
It is very beautiful indeed. Swami, your explanation is fantastic.
Well, it is all
Yeah,
Guru's
very nice.
grace.
Now I got
Thank
it.
you. Thank you very much.
It's all Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji's grace. That's all it is. Shall we close? Yes? Any other questions, thoughts?
One more question, Swaminiji, the Aditi, you said the one who drops in without a date. Can you just say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, you see, we don't have, in the ancient times there was no SMS and telling people I'm coming by and having a calendar and saying, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks or anything like that. Nothing was planned. People, dropped in, they felt free and safe enough to drop in, and that was seen as a blessing. If somebody came to your house, it's seen as a blessing. And so, therefore, it is a metaphor for learning to expect the unexpected in life. In fact, when a few decades ago, if somebody came to your house, they came by train and there was no cell phones in those times. And then when people came, you were not allowed to ask them, how long are you going to stay? You never asked them. Instead, you found out through other ways. You looked at their suitcases. Okay, small carry-on means weekend visit. and a big suitcase means, oh, here they are coming for 1 or 2 months. But then it was impolite to ask. And if it was something in between, you didn't know what to do. Then you found out through other ways, like you say, oh, maybe too bad you're not staying for my son's graduation. And then the guest would say, oh, when is that? Oh, I'll extend my stay and stay. No problem. and then the guest, usually the guest becomes a pest. A very fine line between guest and pest, because when the guest comes, you have to give up certain comforts. Everybody stays in small houses, etc. You have to give up the room, you have to give up the bed, so many things, because the guest is given the best of the things. And so in that sacrifice there is place for growth, inner growth. That is what the idea is. So therefore, Atithi Devo Bhava. So even the guest, is the incarnation of Bhagavan.
Thank you, Swaminiji.
Thank you.
All right. Vidyaji, anything else?
No, Swaminiji, that was a wonderful revelation. So I'm just dwelling on that.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a very nice thing to dwell. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Thank you, Vidyaji. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Somaniji.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Swaminiji. Thank you, Vidyaji.
Take care.
Thank you,
Vidyaji, will you be
Vidyaji. Thank you,
sharing the
Swamiji.
document? Will you
Thank
be
you.
sharing
Thank
the
you,
Yeah, the
Vidyaji and
document is shared.
Swamiji.
It is called, Vidyaji has shared the document. It is called Imperative Mood Practice. And if you hover on it, it says click to download. Please click. And then
And it will
download.
soon show up in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp,
Okay.
and also Harinder will put it in the place that she puts it, whatever that is.
Swamiji, Dropbox. May I say
Dropbox,
something
thank you.
about that? Swamiji, the version I have on my desktop doesn't seem to be shared by anyone.
No,
It
I'm not
looks like-
sharing. Well, I don't know why.
I know, because
Why don't
usually
you
if it's
share
shared,
it with
it says,
everybody?
I will share it. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
share
put it
it
in there.
and send the link to Vidyaji so that everybody has
Okay.
it. She will
Okay,
send it
I'll
on
do that.
WhatsApp. Okay?
Yes. Okay, I'll do that, Swamiji.
Om.
Thank
Om
you.
Namah Shivaya. Good morning or good night, wherever we all are.